Hello guys, and welcome. This is my first solo commentary. I wanted to do a commentary on this one because clearly I'm not going to finish this entire thing. Definitely not going to finish this entire thing in one run. So I figured, why not do a little bit of commentary on the first two chapters. I will be doing more gameplay on this later. I did actually finish the third chapter, which is very satisfactory when I get to it. But I will probably be posting that up and doing the post commentary on that for next month. This I just wanted to do a little bit of a preview, show you guys Jason G. Of course, as you guys know, I'm doing a 28 Black Brawlers for Black History Month. Figured, why not do something fun? It kind of get me back into doing content, and of course playing characters I've never played, playing beat 'em ups I haven't played, blindly, or beat 'em ups I haven't played in a long time in the case of this game, and Spike Out Bad Street, which is kind of the next video I do commentary on. But yeah, I just kind of figured I jump in and just give this one a try. I remember this one being quite hard, actually, and I don't think I used Jason last time. I used, I think it was Lola. But when I saw that Jason was a grappler, I was like, oh, okay, I've got to use this guy. So yeah, let's get into this thing. We're gonna get started here. We're here at the title screen. That was pretty lovely intro. The Japanese intro actually has some, I think like Japanese pop or something like that. And yeah, you're just gonna see me adjusting the settings here. I was gonna go for easy, considering I hadn't played this game in a long time, but I really don't like to do that. Mainly because I feel like I would better experience this by playing it on normal and playing it on like the intended difficulty. Obviously I'm not going to go for hard because considering like I've played this in the past, I know it's hard already by default. I figured just playing it on hard is going to be really problematic.
Don't you lose any sleep over this. The gears are already turning. I've got some of my best soldiers on the case. It's all going according to plan.
Voice acting is kind of interesting in this game. There's actually like a star cast for this, but the dialogue I think is a bit cringy. But I don't know. It also feels like it's just that early 2000s kind of dialogue. Where, yeah, you just know it's a sign of the times, because like, voice acting has come a long way. So is dubbing and among other things. Voice acting in gaming around this time, and the writing was just so corny, most of the time. So yeah, you're about to see quite a bit of that in this game.
One fuck up could get us killed.
You doubting me? A big deal's definitely going down here.
The cartel's behind this. They're looking to take control of the city for my family. We can't allow that. This city belongs to us, and we gotta keep it that way.
We all know who your father is, Aaron. You don't need to go bragging.
I actually don't remember who was casted for these voices, but I know some of them, if I remember correctly, were actually from Funimation. So it's kind of interesting to it's just kind of interesting to hear that, because I think I believe Steve Bloom actually voiced Kiryu in the first Yakuza. Well, the only Yakuza to actually get a dub. And then, of course, Mark Hamill voiced Majima, which is even more interesting to hear. So, it's kind of crazy that these games managed to get these these guys on board, but like the writing was just so bad. Or in the case of Yakuza, like the localization was just so far away from what the actual story was that we would probably just never see that happen again in that series.
Knock that shit off. You forget why we even came here. What about the drugs?
Well, I sure don't see anything laying around. Must be gone already.
That's our boy Jason.
Who the hell took the shite?
These four bastards, apparently. Look around, man. Even a stupid ass like you can
Who
see
took
what
the shite? Somebody's gonna have to tell me in the comments if anybody actually says the word shite,
Guys,
unironically, like that in that sentence. I've said shite, like jokingly, but I've never used it in a sentence like that.
Our family? Why are they here?
Eugene, what are you doing here?
It's all a setup. We fell right into a trap. Terribly sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm afraid you're right. Kill them!
we'll be a big target if we stick together. Split up.
So, okay, here we are at the Wharf. This is the tutorial, actually, yeah, it's the tutorial. I was about to say the first chapter, but it's actually the tutorial. I keep forgetting about this thing. I know the first couple of times I played this game, I actually skipped the dialogue and got my ass kicked royally because I didn't realize how some of this stuff worked. I figured, like, I knew what the buttons were. I probably would have just been fine. But I didn't realize stuff like, okay, so this, for example, you can't block weapons, right? But if you use the grab function on somebody who has a weapon, you'll take their weapon from them. Which I actually really like that mechanic. Well, I like it and I also hate it because what happens is you take the weapon, but you don't drop the weapon. Like, you keep the weapon in your hand, and some of these weapons kind of suck to use against these enemies. So I have to take the weapon and then drop the weapon, and you'll see a few times throughout this video. Sometimes they'll pull that same weapon out again, and sometimes they'll do it almost immediately. So it's like I'll grab the weapon and I'll take the time to drop the weapon so that I can actually use my combos and stuff. And they'll pull out another weapon while I'm doing that. So I have to go and confiscate that weapon and then drop that weapon so I can fight them. Yeah, so I think at one point in this video, they actually pick up the weapon that I dropped on the ground when I'm trying to drop the other weapon. That's the only thing I could say I don't really like about the weapon steal feature. Is that, you know, it just I kind of wish it was a way that I can take the weapon and drop it, like maybe holding down or something, just immediately drop it or knock it out of their hand or something. But I mean, otherwise it's still a pretty neat feature. I do like the fact that you can take weapons from people that way, and that, you know, it's a great use of the grab button. I think that's like, I think it's actually pretty cool.
No way you're getting away! Shit! Too smart for that, eh? No matter. I'll finish this myself.
So I guess this is kind of the first one-on-one fight that you get. I want to say boss, but it doesn't really come off as a boss to me. It's just more of a tutorial for the one-on-one. So in this mode, you actually get more moves than you do in the like the open battles. So another thing I find to be kind of cool about this game is that, you know, there's the one-on-one fights where like the mechanics are a little bit more advanced. You got more moves. Of course, you're blocking low and high. It's actually pretty cool. Like it turns into something of a fighter, and I would love to see something like that utilized in the future. Like I really liked, I liked that Tekken Force was a thing, but it didn't like, it wasn't a beat 'em up mode that like expanded to the depth of like something like Urban Reign. And I'd love to see something like that, just in a game where you just, you know, you have these advanced kind of beat 'em up mechanics, but then, you know, for the boss fights or, you know, specific fights or whatever, you have a one-on-one fight, and it turns into a fighting game for that moment. I think that was actually really cool, Capcom, to try to do that. And here is the title: Beatdown Fist of Vengeance. I feel kind of bad, like I really enjoyed Streetwise, and I kind of skipped over this one because I don't know, like I looked at the characters, and because this wasn't like Final Fight, I was kind of like, I don't know, man. Like, I just wasn't all that interested in it, so it just kind of sat on my shelf for a while. But yeah, and then I played it, and then it was like really hard, and it kicked my ass, and then it made me keep it on the shelf even longer.
Tell me I'm wrong. I gotta be wrong.
I will say for sure though, haven't played this so far. Like I said, I've beaten 3 chapters. I'm gonna preview 2 chapters for this video, which will make it a little bit. It'll be over an hour. It'll be about an hour and 30 minutes or so. But I have to say, like, you know, the game is definitely tough. I don't know what it is with these early brawlers and just being ridiculously tough. But this one isn't as bad as, say, like Urban Reign. Like Urban Reign, man, like you get your ass kicked in that game, and like enemies are just beating the shit out of you in that game. And this one is like you actually have the options to kind of reverse the flow of the fight. You know, it's still tough. Like this boss here, this guy. You fight him in the 3rd chapter, which you'll see. Like I struggle with him a bit, but after getting past the 2nd boss, the chapter 2 boss, which by the way, that boss in particular is what made me rage quit on this game. So getting past that boss was like a big accomplishment for me. Like I finally did it. But after getting past her, like I realized, like, you know, these bosses aren't as hard, but it's really about like what you do before you get to that boss. Because if you go into the boss with low health, you're stuck with that, and that's the only thing that really sucks. So you have to go in and make sure you have a way of keeping your health full going into the fight. Maybe having some backup fighters. The backup fighters kind of suck, especially against bosses, but at least having them as backup, if you get that boss down to like a few hits left or whatever, you got the other characters, you just take them out and finish it off. But you also have to go in like with a strat too. I figured out, you'll see, like I kind of rage quit on this boss because I got stuck with little health, and yeah, she just kept kicking my ass. Like, so I rage quit a bit. You'll see that here. I have to cut it in around that time. I have to clip it a little bit. But yeah, I get back into it, and just having that strat of having the backup characters, having full health when I go into, knowing what I'm getting into when I get to the fight, it helps kind of get through the boss fights there. Whereas Urban Reign, like, it didn't matter what strategy I came up with, those enemies will beat the shit out of you. Like, just the normal enemies can beat your ass in that game, and it's just terrible. It's fucking terrible. This game actually, like, and maybe it's just because I haven't gotten to like the later bosses yet, but I feel like this one's a little bit more manageable at least. So yeah, we're in chapter 1. This one goes by pretty quickly, which is why I kind of just extended this to having the 2 chapters instead. But you know, I might clip some of this stuff anyway, because I know second chapter I got a little bit lost. I also did an extra mission, a little side mission here. And then this one, first one too, I got a little bit lost. Like, I couldn't figure out what I was doing. Yeah, I was walking around trying to figure out things. Also, I don't know if it's the emulator or if it was the game itself. But you get into certain areas and like for some reason like you can't walk backwards. Like you can't walk back with the analog stick. I had to use the D-pad to walk back. And yet it keeps doing that. You'll see. You'll see when I get into like one of those smaller shops. It's like really weird. I don't think that happened in the actual game. I think that might be the emulator. Yeah, you're gonna see it right here. The Rag Shack. Also, you probably noticed earlier I walked back to the harbor. And that was one of those oh shit moments. I was like, oh shit, no, I don't want to go back there. I just ran away from there and you saw the mobsters and shit and I'm like, oh man, I don't want to get my ass kicked. So yeah, you see I'm just kind of struggling to get out of the corner here because it won't let me go like towards the door if I'm using the analog stick. It gets me stuck against the wall. And yeah, like that's when you're using the D-pad, you just walk, you don't run. But the D-pad actually works in the shops. So yeah, I don't know if that was the emulator or yeah, I don't know what that was. I don't think that happens in the actual game though. I might play it on the Xbox and test it and see. It could have been the game. So yeah, I guess I end up fighting the mobsters anyway. This is another issue too that I'm seeing here. It just kind of started happening there, but later down the line, I think it kind of worked out better. But when I was trying to do I forgot that happened. When I was trying to do the combo, he would just do the 2 jabs, right? And he wouldn't do the full combo. It's also that running, like, yeah, that running body splash that he kind of does. I don't know exactly how that works. Like, I don't know if you have to be, like, you have to cancel the run into that, or like you have to be running for a little bit to get it done. It seems like it alters between the start of the run. Okay, so I actually clipped it there because I walked into the subway and I got lost and I was actually not supposed to go there. So yeah, I might actually clip parts of the video where I get lost. Like if I think it's just a little bit like it's a little bit too drawn out of me just like not knowing where the hell to go, I'm probably just gonna cut it out and clip those parts just to shorten the video a little bit. It's already over an hour, so if I can clip it down to at least an hour and a half, I think I'd be happy with that. But yeah, I was actually supposed to go to this bar and I went to the subway instead. I cut that part out because later on you're actually supposed to go to the subway for like other parts of the game, so you're not really missing anything there. I know once I may come back to this game, well, outside of this Let's Play, of course. I'm actually gonna finish this Let's Play and just do post commentary, because it is a blind playthrough. But I know in the future I'm gonna come back to this game. Maybe it'll be soon after this, so that I don't forget too much. But if it is a bit too far out ahead when I come back to playing this again, I might have a walkthrough handy with me, just so that I can like get through the missions and like know exactly where the hell I'm supposed to be going, and it could be less of this this awkward, like, you know, like this moment here where I'm just kind of sitting here like trying to read through the dialogue and taking the fact that I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So this part introduces another mechanic of the game, which is like the customization. So the customization actually helps you get like the cops and the gangs off of your back, because you know, obviously when you change your clothes or, you know, use a disguise or whatever, they're not gonna recognize you. Of course, I got lost here again. I didn't know where the door to the dressing room was. You'll see here that there's a number of different things that you can buy. Of course, there's like tops, there's bottoms, and then there's the shoes. Of course, in the actual dressing room, there's like accessories and stuff. But in like different stores have different things. So there's shops that have like the clothes, there's shops that have the jewelry, and then there's actually shops that you can do. I believe you can do tattoos, and then there's a tattoo shop, and then there's a barber shop, right? So they actually do have quite a number of things to utilize like customization for, and I kind of like that. Like I like the fact that, you know, it's not just a random thing for cosmetics. It's actually a mechanic. You know, you're doing this to avoid the police and to avoid the mafia, and you know, something like that I think is actually pretty neat. Like it's cool to actually add something to having the customization. But yeah, I think that's what I really like about this particular thing, outside of obviously being able to customize the character. I will say they do not have they did not really have too many good hairstyles though, from what I've seen, which is kind of disappointing, but you know, what can you do? This game came out in the early 2000s. So I basically just put on his default look. You see it in the thumbnail. That's what's the look that's in the promotional art. I kind of think this look is a bit dumb, but it's also a sign of the times as well. Like the whole rolled pant leg thing, that was a thing back in the early 2000s for all you folks out there that are like way younger than me that don't understand why he has one of his pant legs rolled up. Yeah, that was a big thing, especially in hip hop culture. You know, we had the one pant leg rolled up, or both pant leg rolled up, and I remember I actually had both pant legs rolled up one time, and my mom was just like, "What the hell are you doing?" Like, my parents just didn't understand. Yeah, I was kind of just scrolling through the move list here to kind of see what he had. It was kind of pointless because I ended up not using any of it anyway. But you see here that like the red stuff is actually the stuff that's used for the one-on-one fighting. And the green, of course, is is the moves that you use both in the open fighting and the one-on-one fighting. But I always found this guy. That's why I said earlier. You know, I actually find this interesting that like when you go into fighting mode and you go into one-on-one mode, like it expands your move list. You know, and of course you're able to kind of crouch and, you know, crouch guard and crouch attack and stuff like that. Stuff like that I think is cool. And you know, I thought about like how they could potentially do that in a 2D beat 'em up. Because there's of course you have your standard belt scrolling mechanics, you know, where you move up and down the Z-axis. But how cool would it be to have it where like maybe during the boss fights those were actually one-on-one fights, and the fighting system worked more like Guardian Heroes, right, where it's a 2D plane, maybe with plane shifting. I don't know, like it'd be cool to kind of see like shifting between that kind of stuff. And this is one of the shops that I mentioned earlier. Obviously, I came in here earlier and I could not walk out with the joystick. I don't know if I buy anything here. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna clip this part. Okay, and we're back. Yeah, so yeah, it turned out that I didn't actually buy anything from the shop, so it was kind of a wasted trip. Yeah, this is what I like. I think, I swear, like I probably would have gotten through this chapter even faster had I known where to go. Because this first chapter is actually pretty easy. So yeah, I think once I start clipping this, it's definitely gonna shave down a lot of time on this video. So of course, you run into this reporter here, and she works as your saving mechanic. I kind of like this too. Like this is something I really like about Capcom games. They always find some creative shit to do when it comes down to saving. Like Resident Evil had the typewriter. Of course, this chick, the reporter, is leaving a record of your exploits and stuff. Because you know, apparently, as somebody who's a vigilante, taking down another Mafia, you know, this is important to her, right? I like the options too, where you tell her to keep her mouth shut if you don't want to save. It's actually kind of funny. Yeah, you know, just looking at this, I kind of feel bad, right? Like this game has a lot to it, and I totally skipped over it, man. Like I skipped over this one. It has like a lot of dialogue. You know, you got a lot of exploration. You got customization. The combat's really not that bad.
Hi.
It's a little rough around the edges, but it's not too bad. And then this is like an informant. She pretty much tells you everything that you need to know about your next mission and stuff. If I had known this, I probably would have gotten to my first mission already. So yeah, the informant gives you like the main missions, and then that guy over there that we were just talking to, the bartender, he gives you drinks that heals you, and he also gives you jobs. So these jobs are basically just side missions and stuff. I think it's a cool and more cleaner way to go about it than Streetwise did. Just be able to just go to one place to get your side missions, briefing on what to do next and whatnot. I kind of like that better. Streetwise is like all the side missions. It's like if you missed them, you missed them. Not that really people really wanted to do the side missions anyway. You had stuff like stomping rats and stuff like that, where this game's like the side missions are actually fighting missions. I think some of them are actually escort missions, which I'm not really fond of. But for the most part, like, you know, you're going after different targets and stuff. That's what your side mission is. So yeah, this game definitely miles ahead of Streetwise in a lot of areas, and it's actually kind of interesting that like Streetwise, there was a kind of like a hint that maybe they were going to let you do customization if you were going to actually be able to customize Kyle, because the tattoo parlor actually has an empty option box, right, where all you can do is just talk to the guy. But clearly there was meant to be other options there, and I assumed that they what they were going to allow you to do was actually give Kyle tattoos. There's also a barbershop that you can't access, if I remember correctly. So it's kind of interesting that this game actually managed to do that, and you know, it was its own thing. So I think this is where we actually start to get into the mission, because if I remember correctly, this about the 37-minute mark from when I was watching this video before clipping anything is where I actually finished the mission. And we're at about like 30 minutes here, like in this video already. So that tells me the mission itself, really, if I had just found it, only would have took about 7 minutes or so. It's mostly the walking around trying to figure out what the hell's going on that takes you longer. Not gonna lie, like, this is my first time doing post commentary, and I kind of like, I kind of find myself liking the game more watching myself play it and noticing the details that I completely fucking missed while I was playing the game. This is one of them. It's like, you know, you got two different factions that you're dealing with here. Like, you're an ex-Mafia, you're fighting the Mafia, and you're also fighting the cops.
Captain Chester, we've surrounded and cut off the suspect as you ordered.
Good job, officer. You've got balls, I'll tell you that.
This is so strange that this guy comes up and salutes him and stuff as if they're in the military.
Yourself, huh? Never thought you'd go to all that trouble and then surrender so easily. Wish you punks would just fight amongst yourselves instead of involving me. Worthless piece of shit. Take this scum in and throw away the key.
I actually like that guy's voice. That was actually solid delivery of those lines. I'm not gonna lie. He actually convinced me that he was like one of those type of like hard ass cops. It was kind of funny there. Like, it looked like he was going for a punch, but then he kicked instead. Now this part kind of confused me a little bit. You're supposed to punch the door, right? I thought maybe if I punched enough I would break it. But no, you're just supposed to kick at it until you piss the policeman off. Here, as you're going to see in this cutscene.
Hey, what's all this noise? Knock it off! I'm the warden around here and I don't stand for that kind of shit. I don't get no respect.
Why does he have such a southern accent and then he's just like this fat cop?
That damn Captain Chester's no different. No one knows how important I really am. It's all your fault. You and your jailbreaks. That's why I get no respect. I am a victim of circumstance, and it's your fault.
I'm so confused here because I'm pretty sure
You feel pain like you never even imagined.
this is the first time I've gotten thrown in his jail. I'm almost certain, like, this guy has not been arrested prior. So is he like generally just saying like, all you punks keep breaking out of jail and that's why I keep getting in trouble? Because that's kind of a him problem, I think, right? Like, so this is where I was getting used to the one-on-one combat. It is really, like, it's really rough to get used to this. Yeah, you see, and you'll see, you see what I'm talking about here. I had to discard the weapon because whenever I swung at him, he tried to take it from me. And Jason takes so long to swing like weapons. And I think obviously this is because he's a grappler. He's obviously better at the grab mechanics. Also, like, okay, so if you get them up against the wall, and you use the grab, you'll slam them against the wall. This actually comes in handy against bosses. You'll see a little bit later. Also, you do have stats too that you boost here. Another thing that I'm really enjoying about this game is the stat system too. I didn't know what technique did, so I didn't bother upgrading technique. I'm gonna have to just look that up and see what technique does. Also, I got lost here again. Not only did I get lost here. Oh yeah, you can also take things from them when they're knocked out too. But not only did I get lost here, I tried to move with the analog stick again and I got stuck. So I had to like just walk my way to where the area over there. You can kind of see it in the corner of the video there. Like, there's that hole in the wall that you're supposed to go through. Yeah, there you go. There you go, buddy. You found it. I was gonna clip that, but I figured it might be better for me to just kind of explain what's going on here. Now this, in the whole door thing earlier, I kind of think like they overdid it a bit. Like, I mean, look how many times I had to punch that, and I had to punch that door earlier. Like, I don't think it should be like that. These guys, man, I swear. There's a lot of repeated dialogue too in this, like when the windscreen and when these guys come to attack you and stuff. Like, these guys say goddamn punk like a million times. Yeah, and that's the end of chapter 1. I would cut it here, but I really feel like this first chapter was kind of boring to watch. So, yeah, we're just gonna continue on into the second chapter. I think going forward, though, the other videos that I'm gonna post of this is probably going to be one chapter each, because I know between the exploring, going into the shops, and probably doing some extra missions, it's probably going to be a good hour per chapter. Chapter 2, Under Siege. Now we're back at the hole. In fact, I think in this particular chapter is going to go a little bit longer because I did a couple of side missions. And of course, I had a moment where I had to rage quit. I think I lost a couple of fights as well that I had to restart. So, yeah, if it drags on a bit too much, there might be some parts that I cut out. This guy actually happens to be another grappler. I come to find out when after I recruit him. I'm not gonna recruit him here. I think I just beat the shit out of him. So this is just explaining the pride gauge. So that's another element to this game, is that when you're fighting certain people, you can actually interrogate them, rob them, or recruit them. See, so you have the options there: recruit, rob, interrogate, or beat down. I think beat down, you just let go of them and continue to fight. I think that's the case. I'm not sure, because cancel seems to do the same thing. Yeah, so I'm not sure why those two options are there. I just know when I used beat down, all that happened was I let go of them. And I don't know, maybe it was just because that guy at the time when I did that was resisting. That could be, that actually might be it. I think he resisted, and that's why I ended up letting go of him. So maybe beatdown Mimi is just like a way of finishing him off. Because all three of them finish the fight. Like if you interrogate, it'll finish the fight. If you rob him, it'll finish the fight. So I assume beatdown also finishes the fight by just beating him down. But they can also resist, like I mentioned earlier. So if you click beat down or rob or interrogate or whatever, they can break out of it and continue to fight from there. Some enemies will do that. Others will just give in. And of course, she's explaining the Blacklist, which is just basically a list of people that you can recruit, and their locations, and their stats and all that stuff. So yeah, this game actually gets pretty damn deep when it comes down to recruiting mechanic and the helper AIs and stuff. Another thing that I just think is really cool about this game. Alright, so I had a clip there again. Basically the gist of what she was saying was to take out the gang that's in the subway. The gang that's taken over the subway. But I got a little confused here because when they mentioned that, cockblock me. The dialogue in this game is so fucking. I don't know if they get away with stuff like that now. Not in the sense of people getting offended, but it's just like, would somebody really put cockblock in a game? A game like this now? But yeah, I got a little confused because when you go into the subway, and you'll probably see me go. This is a recruit thing, by the way. You're gonna see me go into the subway, and like it's not gonna be really anybody there of note. But I find out that like they're actually in the next area, which is like this little intersection area. That's another thing too. You can when you recruit them, you can send them on call, which means they'll just be in the menu for you to call them out to come out. And then of course you got to meet them somewhere after when you do that. Or you can have them follow you from right then and there. Now I will say the on-call thing is a bit of a pain in the ass because if you summon them from the menu, you have to go and meet them at a certain place. And sometimes they're like really far away, and that's really it's a bit of a pain in the ass. Yeah, this is where I got confused because I thought when I got in a fight with him, the other guys were gonna jump in and try to fight, but it was just him. And I guess it turned out he wasn't part of the gang that I'm supposed to be going after, so... Yeah, I think I spent a little bit more time walking around here.
Yo, what? Okay, fine. I'll talk. I'll tell you everything.
Yeah, so I clicked there. Yeah, it was a lot of walking around, and of course they beat the crap out of that guy, and all they told me was like that there was new stuff at the shops. So I guess interrogating random people will have them tell you about the shops. But yeah, I ended up figuring out where the hell to go, and it was this little area. Like I said, it was an intersection. And I come to find out what she was saying was that she was saying station, and I guess it's a station area. I don't know. Like it was a little confusing. It sounded more like she was saying subway, or like it seemed like she was talking more about the subway station. But yeah, this is actually one of the side missions that I jumped into. You're gonna see that this particular. Okay, so here we are at the gas station. Yeah, this is a little side mission that the bartender gave me. I guess this guy was like doing a deal or some shit, and I guess it went wrong. So now I'm supposed to beat up this golden suit pimp. I don't know if this guy's a pimp or not. He looks like one. You're gonna see very quickly here that like I'm still not used to the mechanics yet. Not so much on this guy. Also, so the guys in the back, obviously they're not in the fight. They're just kind of there like this, you know, King of Fighters style. They're just waiting to jump in kind of thing. They're waiting their turn. But they get in the way sometimes. Like they'll jump in front of you or jump in front of the camera, and it's like they should just be off in the background, not moving, I think. That's kind of, I feel like they kind of dropped the ball there. Yeah, this is me still getting used to the mechanics. Like, I'm used to like setting my guard button to the right bumper, but in this game it's reversed. So the bottom button's guard, and then the right bumper is grab. So I still like have a trouble getting used to that. Also, Brad sucks. I mean, look how skinny he is. I'm almost certain that's to be expected from this guy. But he sucks, man. Like, Warren was so low on health. And then, of course, he pulled out the brass knuckles, and it was the end of that. And that's that.
Tough, but not tough enough to beat me.
I wish they had more winning dialogue. You're gonna hear that a lot. Not tough enough to beat me. So yeah, it looks like you're to max out your stats, you have to get all the way up to 5 fists. So yeah, it's quite a bit of leveling up to do, which is interesting because there's only 7 chapters, and like I'm already in the 3rd chapter. I haven't even leveled up past the 2nd fist for any of those things. So it kind of makes me wonder, like, is this leveling up is supposed to be for like this like new game plus in the game or something? So yeah, you get a little extra money as well for doing these little side missions. And yeah, of course, this is where I go back and of course try to figure out like what to do here. Of course, I save for a bit. Made another cut. I was pretty much basically just walking around the bar, not knowing what the hell I was doing again. I also picked up a drink from the bartender and healed. But I wanted to skip to this part because I actually wanted to show you guys, like I did go back and customize them. Finally, I went into the shop and actually bought some clothes and customized them a bit. I will skip this a little bit because I know it's just kind of sitting there watching customization. And there we are. Adam Hunter Jason. You know, the unfortunate part is that I'm actually going to lose this outfit because of the rage quit later. And there I'll go getting stuck in the wall again. I feel like maybe the next set of videos may not have as many cuts because I'm not as lost or trying to figure out where the hell I am. But yeah, here's the blacklist that I mentioned earlier. So this is actually what helped me figure out where I was supposed to go, because I knew it was Fatima Saints that I was going after, but I kept thinking that they were in the subway and they weren't in the subway. And then like looking at this, you actually see where they're located. It actually tells you where their territory is. And then of course you look down, look on the map and you know, match it up and find out where they are. And of course here I am. I've just run into 2 of them here. So here, whenever you interrogate them or ask them to recruit or join you, sometimes they'll ask for money to do that. Of course here I did not want to use any of the money. I just wanted to beat the shit out of him and make him join. Or actually no, make him give me information. 'Cause I figured he would actually give me information on their boss. Again, have to stress I'm still getting used to the mechanic here. Like I keep pressing guard instead of grab. I'm actually surprised I didn't actually get the negotiation here because I stabbed him instead of grabbing him. But yeah, you see there like how long it takes him to swing that knife. A lot of enemies will punch you mid swing, and that's why I always try to get rid of the knife instead. Also, I didn't realize it here. I didn't realize this until after like sitting down and actually watching this playthrough. If you have the knife at the end of the fight, you actually equip it to your inventory. I wasn't paying attention because I didn't really care about having a knife anyway. And I actually don't even, I keep forgetting I even have it in the inventory. So yeah, this guy I actually ended up interrogating. Wow, I cannot talk today. I'm gonna leave that error in there. I'm gonna leave that error in there.
Hey, wait
And then it turns out this guy only tells me about a shop. I believe that's what he told me. This is both times that I wasn't paying attention while playing and then while doing his commentary. But I swear what he told me was not of any use. I already knew where to go anyway, but I kind of figured maybe he would like tell me which one of them is the boss. So yeah, this is Station Zone. This is actually where the entire game, for the most part, is. I think I recruit this guy. Yeah, see, some of them just go along without asking of you anything, or you don't have to beat them up. That guy in particular.
What?
This guy, I think I try to recruit as well. Yeah, and then he doesn't, and then he actually starts a fight there. So this guy you're not going to interrogate, you're not going to convince him anything, you have to beat the crap out of him. Of course, I'm pretty sure I lose to this guy. Because he kept reversing my throws and I kept like trying to grab instead of blocking. Because again, yeah, you know, I had the buttons reversed in my brain. Yeah, so he would punch me, and I would try to grab instead of blocking. So yeah, I think I actually lose to this guy. I'll leave this in though because it actually introduced another part of the game that I actually forgot to talk about here. Yeah, I think he reverses my grab and knocks me out. I think it's, yeah, yep. So yeah, when you get knocked out, apparently if you don't beg for your life, you get a game over and you go to the title screen. So it's like humiliate yourself or rage quit. Those are two options you have. So if you beg, you get sent to the clinic, you get healed and whatever. I actually kind of like this mechanic. I don't know if it takes money from you from coming here. And again, we ran into the joystick problem again with this. I might clip it here because I think from here it's just me walking all the way back there to fight that guy again. I'm not entirely sure.
Just keep your mouth shut and stick with me, alright?
Alright, I'll do what you say.
Alright, so skipping ahead. Yeah, so I recruited these two, beat the crap out of that guy. And yeah, I think now is the part where they actually start telling me that the boss wants to see me at the basketball court. And this is where we're gonna get into like the boss fight. Or you know what, no, I think there's two other people that I end up fighting. Or one person I recruit and then the other one I fight. Yeah, I think it was Grace. Grace is the one that I fight. This is where I find out that the some of them are like in different areas of this stage. They're not all in the same spot. I was about to clip there, but I was like, you know what, it didn't take that long.
Yeah?
So yeah, she's another one of the gang members I actually asked her to recruit. Yeah, she asked me for $500. This time I actually do pay it. And she joins me, no problem. And yeah, okay. I think I keep her on call, which actually ends up being a pretty bad mistake, as you'll probably see a little bit later on in the video. And then there's another guy up here. Yeah, this guy. He kind of just appeared out of nowhere, actually. I just noticed that. Yeah, so he's the one that tells us that the boss wants to see me at the basketball court. I think after like a few recruits or knockouts of the gang members start telling you, hey, this boss wants to see you. What I was actually trying to do with this guy was just throw him off the bridge, because he's one of the guys you can't interrogate. You have to knock him out. And it's actually a lot faster if you just toss him off the bridge. So you're gonna see here, because I'm gonna try to recruit him, and then he breaks out of it. Yeah, so he breaks out of it and punches you. So I just knock him out instead. It is interesting that like there's battle damage in this game too. Like this game is really detailed for it to be like a kind of off the cuff brawler in the early 2000s.
What?
Yeah, this guy asked me for $800. I'm like, yeah, screw that. I think I get in a fight with him. I'm not sure if I lose the fight though.
What?
I'm trying to remember.
No way, man. You ain't getting away. Serves you right.
So I kind of lost. But you know, of course, having the backup, you know, you have extra. It basically, they work as your extra lives, kind of. You have the extra characters to kind of fight with. Of course, if you win, your main character, which is Jason here, has very little health left. And thankfully, I had some healing items here. Didn't really help, honestly, as you're gonna see in his boss fight. But yeah, side note, Hawk sucks, man. Like that guy had like 2 taps of health left, and I just could not land a hit with Hawk because he kept delaying his punches. So yeah, definitely not the backup character you want.
Hey.
So here we are at the boss fight. We're at the boss fight already. Yeah, this is not gonna go very well for me. Not necessarily because of this part, but because I didn't realize that this leads directly into the boss fight. So it's not like you get this fight and then it's like, okay, well, I'm low on health, I'm gonna go heal. It's like, no, you do this fight and then you go right into the boss fight. And while you're fighting the boss, like if you lose against the boss, you start over at the boss with the health that you had when fighting the boss. So you just have to beat them with that little health you have left, or it's just not gonna happen. Or you have to rage quit. You have to quit. And yeah, since I didn't save, you'll see here, like I didn't save at all. So I actually had to start over from the last save point, which is way before I even got these clothes, before I recruited the guys, etc., etc. But I'm gonna at least let the cutscene play and, you know, let you guys see me get my ass whooped the first time, because man, oh man, I was really irritated with this boss fight. This is the boss I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the video, where she's the reason why I stopped playing this game entirely back in the day. I got to her and man, I was just so pissed. So you see she starts off with this sword, right? So she has all this range and power, And remember, you can't block weapons, so you have to discard a weapon. Yep, and this is what I was talking about earlier. She pulled out the sword right after I snatched this other sword from her. And this is the first time I see this happen. I think it's the first time I see this happen. And I think it's so stupid to me because she clearly only has one sword, right? So where the hell is she pulling this other sword from? And then of course you see these characters, these other characters really suck. They're like terrible. I don't think you can upgrade these guys either. So yeah, you're just gonna watch her, you're basically just gonna watch her massacre this guy. In fact, I don't even think I get a hit in on this. I don't even think I get a hit in on her. Yeah, he has so little health, I don't even think I get a hit. Yeah. Yep.
Ooh, that felt good. Real good.
So yeah, you basically just saw me rage quit there. Yeah, yeah, that boss, man, like, you cannot go into that boss unprepared. I basically had to go back and, redo a lot of stuff because I didn't save. So these, like, last 23 minutes, I might clip it down, I might actually clip it down a bit, I'm not sure. Maybe I'll just let it run because it's only 23 minutes. Yeah, I got really pissed when I thought about it because I thought if I selected no, it would just go back back to right before I went into the boss fight. I don't know why I thought that. I'm not sure why I thought that. Because at the very least it would have gone back to the saving point, which is here. So I still would have ended up here anyway. But what actually happens is if you say no, it goes to game over and then you're back at the title screen, then you have to load the game and then you come back and it's like, yeah, I cut all that crap out of here. I'm trying to recall what I did here. I think what happened, yeah, I might have to cut this because I think I had to recruit these guys all over again. So I'm gonna cut it a bit. We'll be back.
What? Yo.
Yeah?
¿Qué?
Goddamn punk!
Alright, so we're back. Yeah, so a lot of stuff happened there. I had to, of course, recruit those guys again. I recruited Grace, I recruited Stark. We went through the process of sending them away instead of having them follow me immediately, and that delayed it even further because I had to go pick them up from certain places. So yeah, I cut all that stuff out and we just kind of skipped to the fight here. This is where I actually get through the fight, and this is why I said earlier that I regret not having Grace to back me up before. Yeah, so you'll see here. Like once I get past these guys, Grace is actually really good. So is Stark. Amazingly, like they're actually pretty good. They didn't even take a lot of damage either, which was the interesting part of that particularly, like that group fight. Like the other guys took a lot of damage. And then of course I skipped the cutscene here because at this point I was just tired. I just wanted to get back into the fight again. Oh man, and I was really struggling here too. I think I lost this fight. No, I didn't. Okay. So this is where I found not really an exploit, but like use of the grab up against the wall, because apparently it stuns her. It doesn't actually knock her down, and then of course she knocked me out. But it whittled her down enough for the other characters to knock her out. But I found that particular thing interesting. Like I came across that like last minute after she was kicking the shit out of me. And this is where I came to understanding that, yeah, not having Grace on the team was an absolute mistake. So she's a kickboxer. And yeah, she apparently hits really fucking hard.
That was close. Knew I'd win though.
Yeah, and that's actually the end of chapter 2 here. You're gonna see me walk around a little bit because, yeah, I wasn't exactly sure what to do after this. There's not there isn't a cutscene that plays like immediately after. And yeah, it takes a minute for this to fade in. Yeah, so yeah, there was a cutscene made immediately after. It actually let me steal $1,000 off of her first. Yeah, and just like I was just kind of thinking like, well, what happens now? And then we walk out, and then bam, a cutscene plays. Of course, it takes forever to load. Loading in this game is so long. So crazy how long the load times are. But yeah, we're pretty much at about the end of the video. I'm gonna let the cutscene play, and then yeah, we'll see you guys for the next video. Thank you for watching. If you watched all the way through, I know it's a little bit over an hour. But yeah, I kind of enjoyed this. And I think chapter 3 is where things really started to pick up for me. And yeah, you know, thank you guys for tuning in.
Zanetti does not fear you. But in the off chance that you would ally yourself with the traitor, things could get